Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is Monday, March 8th, 2021. My guest today is well, we're going to call him up right now. He's a comedian. He's a street fighter.
Yo.
Diego Lopez, you're on right now with the sit down with Mike Racine.
I'm honored. Hello, sir. How are you, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Nice to see you. Everybody, please follow Diego on social media and follow his show, Nihilift. He's got a funny show that combines comedy and fitness, and we all need a little bit of that nowadays because I know I've gotten fat as shit the past couple weeks because my wife keeps bringing ice cream into the house.
Yeah, that makes it easy for that kind of habit to fall in line with a pregnant woman around.
Yeah. All right, let's start the show the way we always do. I always ask my guests to burn one bridge in comedy. So pick a person who's like above you and just say how much you hate them.
God, I don't remember anyone. I think the biggest thing is like I don't even. Let me pick somebody. I want to be fucking good about this. Okay, so the bridges in comedy don't exist anymore.
Don't exist anymore. Yeah.
And
all the power that people have had has been stripped away, and everyone's left with who they are.
Right. I feel like all the bookers really have found out who their friends really are during this time. I'm gonna say, fuck. What's your name?
All the bookers were seen on right wing social media.
Fuck the seller. Fuck everyone at the seller.
Yeah.
Suck my fucking dick.
Yeah. Exactly. I guess I'm still thinking about this, but I watched the Meghan and Harry interview last night, and Stephen Colbert did a promo, and he was like, "Check out." This made me so mad, and I talked about it yesterday, but I'm going to talk about it today too.
Sure.
He was like, "Watch the Late Show if you need something about like Meghan and Harry and all the tea they just spilled," and I was like, "Dude,
God.
You're so humiliating. Just get an 11-year-old girl to host your show."
Yeah.
If that's how you're going to fucking talk.
Is they keep doing like they're trying to do as much like millennial speak and like all this like speaking in code for like young kids, but they still need to hire old white men to do the job. It's like, this is embarrassing.
But why do they have old white men doing the job? I mean, I don't know. Can't he just like be an executive producer and they just get like a child to?
It'd be better. It'd be really interesting to have a late night show hosted by a child. They're like, all right, we'll have to go to bed. So fuck all this nonsense.
Yeah. Because I was saying last night, I mean, like, remember David Letterman? He was like, yes, I'm an old man. I fuck my interns. I sexually harass everybody. I make Monica Lewinsky jokes in 2014.
Yeah, and, I'm aggressively sexist towards any female guest I have.
I have no women in my writing staff.
No.
Yeah.
But he never tried to make, like, jokes about, fucking, I don't know, TikTok dances or anything like that. Like, he never tried to make jokes about being in them. More like making fun of them.
Yeah.
But not trying to be, like, in the know.
Yeah. He was like, gigapets are so stupid, and everybody was like, yeah, that's right. Thank you.
That's right. I fucking
hate my
kids.
Dave. Yeah. He wasn't like, Deb's unboxing our baby stroller right now, and
how exciting.
Yeah. So in our neighborhood, everybody there's a stroller brand called Up a Baby.
Oh, I know. I know where you are.
Yeah. You know where I am?
I mean, I think so. To a degree, because I bumped into you when you guys were looking for a place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we live in Carroll Gardens now. We looked in Greenpoint, but we thought that we decided we don't want to give our money to Polish people, so we moved to Carroll Gardens and give our money.
They're gonna waste it.
What's that? They are gonna waste. You're just gonna get drunk with my money. I'm sorry the rent's late, but you're just gonna sit in the park and piss your pants. Drink vodka and pee yourself.
That's all you're good for.
Thank God for we can let all of our racism out on them, on Polish, Italians, and Irish. We can just let it out.
I lived in Greenpoint for a long time, and I still work there, and I have a lot of issues with Polish people.
Well, I have such a contempt because it's like the neighborhood just got popular by chance, by luck, because it's close to Williamsburg, and nobody wanted to. Back in like 2009, 2008, nobody really wanted to live there. It was like the offshoot of, and it sucked because it was off the G, and then Greenpoint got trendy because Lena Dunham, I guess she lived there. on girls. Everybody wanted to live there, and now it's like all the Polish people are like, yes, $4,000, please, for this.
Like, you don't know what that number is, you motherfucker.
You don't even know what that number is.
I moved to Williamsburg in 2009.
Yeah.
And I lived in Williamsburg for about 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think I ever stepped foot in Greenpoint, even when I lived in Williamsburg then.
Yeah.
Like, I'd go to McCarran. That's about as north as I went.
Yeah. Yeah. I lived in Greenpoint for a little bit, and we rented this apartment, and the couple was a Polish couple, and they lived on the first floor, and they were really nice, and the guy fixed everything, and the lady's name was Anna, and she was always very, like, present. I mean, sometimes she would complain if you made noise or whatever, because, it was like her building that you were a guest in. But the day that we signed the lease, she was like, oh, yes, it's nice to be here. We used to have a son, and he passed away in a car accident on Mother's Day. Like, all right, cool.
Oh, awesome. Well, Red's doing the first? Okay.
Yeah, see you around the building.
I lived with my girlfriend in
Hope I don't find you in a rocking chair in my place, Hope you're not watching me sleep.
Yeah. I lived in Greenpoint with my girlfriend in like 2011.
Yeah.
And one time I took a taxi from the airport back to my place. And the driver was Polish. And I told him the cross street. He goes, oh, I know that. I used to live around there. I know that area well. I'm like, oh, cool. And then we got closer. And then he's like, this building? And I go, yeah, that one. And he stops and goes, oh, you live here? I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, in the 80s, that used to be a whorehouse. And I go, oh, cool, man. He goes, what floor do you live on? I'm like, 2. He goes, no, you're fine. It was 3. I'm like, oh, awesome. Good to know, man.
But why is that bad? Yeah, what is it, like bad luck?
He's sex negative is what his fucking problem is.
Yeah. You're just like, well, that's the ghost of you bring a girl back, you're like, yeah, that's the ghost of a prostitute upstairs, but she doesn't bother anybody. She's pretty cool.
She's pretty cool, yeah.
She's pretty chill. All right, well, I wanted to have you on the show because can you assemble that somewhere else? Honey, do you want me to come over there with my tools and give you a hand with that? But I want to have you on the show because I was thinking about, I forget what I was thinking about, but I was like, oh, yeah, street fighting. Do you know Daniel Torado?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so he's another comic. But I heard this like secondhand. And because I was thinking about, if you're in, because last Sunday night I was driving home from Jersey, and I was listening to an audiobook. I was listening to Malcolm X's autobiography, actually, just to let everybody know. And so I was listening to an audiobook. My dog is on my lap because he does a thing where he has to sit on my lap when he's in the car, even though sometimes he's good, but he usually jumps on my lap. So I go over to make I check the highway before. I go over to make a lane change. It seems clear. I go over. Nobody beeps or anything. And then this truck gets in front of me, and the guy starts like slowing down, almost comes to a full stop, where I could tell it was very deliberate. I was like, this guy's fucking with me. And something kind of went off where I was like, oh, okay, this could be a problem. This could be potentially dangerous, and I got to get out of this situation. Then I caught up with the guy, and surprise, surprise, it's a white guy, fucking around like that. And I was like, well, I can't. I don't want to follow this guy. Anyway, what I want to ask you about is street fights. And I want to ask you, do you have any tips for if you're ever in a situation where you have to, where it looks like you're going to have to fight and you don't have a choice? Are there any? Because what I heard secondhand from Daniel Torado is that if you have to fight somebody, you spit in their face and then you attack them and then you get like a free shot. What is your opinion on that? Or do you have any just basic? Because none of the people who listen to this show can fight. So do you have any basic survival tips if you have to fight?
Okay, so first, to let your listeners know why you're asking me, I think it's important so they take my advice seriously.
Yeah.
I used to be an MMA fighter. I was a champion MMA fighter, and I teach MMA. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So that's my job. So I do come to this with some understanding and some, actual advice. So number one, never get in a street fight. That's number one.
Right. Okay. I had a feeling you were going to say that.
And I don't mean, and I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this in like a peace is more important and like never harm your fellow man. I mean, getting in a street fight fucking sucks because if you win and you hurt somebody, then you're in legal trouble.
Right.
And people, I actively know friends who have gone to prison because of fucking somebody up in a street fight.
Okay. See, that's what there was a doorman at Caroline's, this guy Eddie, and he was a firefighter, and he was like a big guy, and he worked on Friday nights, and he some client got rowdy or some customer got rowdy, and he hit the guy, and then he was like, it wasn't worth any of the legal stuff that I went
exactly
through. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And two, if you lose a street fight, that could be really fucking bad because there's no referee there.
Right. Right.
You have no idea how far someone's going to take the beating you get.
That's true.
But now that being said, so A, never fight.
Okay.
B,
this is very responsible advice, and you're right. And I think that usually you can kind of, I think 9 times out of 10 you can usually talk your way out of stuff.
Well, and I was going to say, so it's not even like you don't even have to talk your way out of it. I've been in situations where just very direct and confident eye contact can stop a situation where I was on the train I guess it's like 2 years ago at this point, and there across from me was these 2 young girls in skirts, and to my right was a guy standing up, and I realized he was jacking off at them. They didn't notice. And my goal became, can I get this guy to stop without these girls noticing and ruining their fucking really ruins their night. So I just started staring at him and giving him
You just stood in front of him and took your shirt off. You just hoped he was by.
Yeah, exactly. I sat there and stared at him, and I gave him like, I fought people in cages. I know how to fucking look at somebody to let them know.
Right.
Chill the fuck out.
Right.
And I just kept staring at him, and he looked at me and glanced and stopped and then moved a little bit. But for 2 stops, I didn't stop staring at him. And then he got off the train. Now, does that mean he's never going to do it again? No, probably not. But I didn't want to fucking beat the shit out of some old man.
Oh, he was an old man.
How am I going to prove that he was, I just beat the shit out of some old man that no one noticed was jacking off. Like, that's awful. So that's
a situation where it's like you beat him up, and then you find out that because you remember that episode of Malcolm in the Middle where he fights a kid, and then he finds out that the kid is 7. The kid's like bullying him, but the kid was just a big 7-year-old. It's funny. Good show.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so Malcolm he beats the shit out of this big kid, and then he finds out that he's 7. So Malcolm feels really bad about it the whole episode. That's like you find out the guy's like developmentally disabled or something.
Right. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so now actual combat fighting tips.
Okay.
Recognize your surroundings. What kind of room are you in? You don't want to corner yourself. If you can back yourself into where the exits are, that's very useful. Notice if there's is it slick flooring? Is it carpeted? Is it wet on the floor?
Okay.
Are there short like coffee tables are your biggest enemy because you can get pushed on them and then totally wipe out and eat shit.
Okay.
So that kind of stuff, that you can do that. Like anytime I walk into a new room I've never been in, I kind of take inventory of those details.
Okay.
Just in case. Like if it's a slick, smooth floor, I'll probably limit my like rotational strikes, like round kicks or hooks, just because I don't want to like slip out and eat shit.
Okay.
Now, what I would tell most people is a good leg kick can help you a lot.
Okay.
Because
now these are we should probably make this clear again. These are just like survival tips if you have no choice.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing else you can do.
All right.
Why I like kicks in comparison to punches is a person who knows nothing about fighting can instinctually block a punch. They see something coming to their face and they'll raise their arms up instinctually. If you catch a forearm or an elbow on your hand, you can break your hand pretty easily.
Okay.
No person who doesn't have a lot of experience will correctly defend a leg kick. They're gonna eat it.
Okay.
And when you haven't trained your legs to take that kind of impact, you're gonna fall. You're gonna eat shit.
You're gonna kick them. So you're gonna kick them in the legs.
Yeah, you kick them right above the knee to the outside of the thigh.
Okay.
On the quad, on the big meaty part of the thigh. What that will do is either A, they fall, B, it hurts a lot, but they don't go unconscious. They don't slam their head on the floor. They'll just go down to the floor, which allows them, A, the ability to post their hands on the floor, not slam their head, like I said. But B, the more important thing is it demonstrates prowess. It shows to them, oh, maybe I shouldn't fight this person who just fucking leg kicked me.
Right. And you're thinking you don't want them to get hurt either, because then you're in legal trouble.
Exactly. I want very minimal damage on their part. So striking wise, I would say leg kicks or a teep. A teep is a push kick to the abdomen.
Okay.
Because the beauty of a teep is that it can take the wind out of them, like it can like take their lungs out, but it also keeps them far away. That's your longest tool. So you can kick somebody in the stomach with a push kick. It keeps them away, keeps you safe, but it can also exhaust them and take their wind out. So those are the 2 strikes I would recommend.
Okay.
The biggest problem I see.
How about a headbutt?
Man, I would love to see someone like. That's a murder. That's insane to do that.
Okay.
I respect it though. I think it's a fucking strong move to do.
Okay.
But so here's my point in terms of why I don't like
punching
boxing for self-defense. Let's say I'm a really good boxer and someone tries to hurt me. My only way of stopping them is by hurting them worse. If I have jiu-jitsu or if I have grappling, I can manhandle a person and not hurt them at all. It gives me the choice. Now, if I want to, I could break their arm or choke them unconscious, but that's a choice now. So it depends on distance. I think distance management is probably where most people, even skilled fighters, get in trouble, not understanding what tools they have as an available option at what distance they are. So like, if you're a little bit too far for me to punch, the average person will just lean in to punch, which leaning in means you're unbalanced, which means if you miss, you fall or, over rotate. So being able to recognize how far away someone is and know what strike you have available is very, very important.
Okay.
But if you can get a hold of someone, and again, most street fights that I've ever seen at one point end up on the floor because people have shit balance and they get pushed a little bit and they fall. If you don't know what to do once you're on the ground, you're screwed. You have to be able to protect, avoid, and if necessary, injure or choke them out.
Right. So once that lady from the body shop who got knocked on the ground, once she was on the ground, it was pretty much over for her, right?
Yeah, especially because she was outnumbered.
Yeah. Right.
So that's in her. If we could talk about that video specifically. Her big failure was not understanding that she was in gang territory. She was an individual inside of a store where there's people wearing the same uniform. That is inherently a team. You cannot fight a team.
Right.
So that's the one issue with grappling. Let's say you voluntarily take someone to the ground. You don't know how many friends they have around you.
Okay.
So that's a terrifying thing about being able to be, if you're only good at grappling.
Sure.
If I take somebody to the ground and let's say I get on top of them and I'm like, even being nice, let's say I'm just holding their wrist down and go, you got to be cool. You need to fucking relax.
Right.
Boom. I get kicked in the back of the head.
Now you got to fight the whole bar Seagal style.
Exactly. And how many necks can you break with 2 hands? It's too much to ask of one person.
Right.
But the thing is, the more you understand, the more you think about a street fight and the more variables you have to take account of, you quickly realize it's almost impossible. You never know. It's so difficult, to do it well, unless you walk into a bar with a bunch of friends who can also fight, and the bar and who's likely to, it's just like, it quickly becomes protecting yourself to you're attacking people, like aggressively attacking people.
Yeah.
So if I had to teach the average person, which I do this sometimes, people come to me and they ask for this kind of package, a self-defense package. What I would teach them is stanced movement. So
this is pretty cool that people are learning how to fight in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I can do it. It just so the problem is, I'll go back to the package.
Yeah.
The problem is with self-defense courses is people do them once or twice and they think they think they have
forever.
it.
Yeah,
which is not true.
Yeah.
You need to create habits that become very difficult to break when you're afraid.
Right.
When you're afraid, you become the dumbest version of yourself. It becomes very difficult to follow a recipe in that moment.
Yeah. Because everybody thinks they know what they're going to do, but when they're in there.
Yeah, man, it's so much more different. So,
yeah. What did you say? You just cut the momentum of the whole show. She wants to fight someone and hit someone on both ears at the same time.
That's
sorry.
Just going to annoy someone. The same thing with the spitting thing, like that guy gave you advice. I'm like, yes, theoretically, if you spit on someone, they're gonna blink for a second, maybe wipe their face.
Right.
But if someone spit on me and then hit me,
Yeah.
I would hurt them.
You'd be mad. Yeah.
I would hurt them really bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm now annoyed.
Yeah. Should we do a charity thing? Should we do a thing for charity where people can spit on you? People pay $20 to spit on you, and it all goes to like, I don't know, it all goes to like kids with cancer. It all goes to Jerry's kids.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna get all horny and it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, right. Spit on a black belt for $20.
So
I'm sorry about my wife. I think she's possessed.
Not at all. Big fan of Deb. No, it's not a good move. It does nothing.
Yeah.
It makes my ears red.
It just makes his ears red. Okay.
So, So if I've had to design a program for someone to learn to fight as quickly as possible to defend themselves against as many people as possible.
What is that program? I don't know. Why don't you go to patreon.com/sitdownpod and cough up $5, you piece of shit. You cheap piece of garbage who wants content for free all the time. No, that the rest of that interview was a lot of it was a lot of good information. It was 10 more minutes. So if you want to hear it, go to patreon.com/sitdownpod. $5 a month gets you a 20-minute show every single day. And also, if anybody needs high-quality, experienced, professional movers in New York City, please go to truckboysmoving@gmail.com. Is this a little shameless? I don't know. It's not my company. It's a company that I've used. And I got a baby on the way, so I have to make as much money as possible. So truckboysmoving@gmail.com, patreon.com/sitdownpod. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.